Hello, and welcome to the FinBiz 2030 Building Resilience podcast series. This podcast features highlights from the Recover, Refocus, Rebuild webinar, hosted by Badai Yuda Pratama. In this episode, we hear from Mutiara Hapsari of Coca-Cola Europacific Partners.
Next up, we have Mutiara Hapsari. Over the years, Tiara has worked her way up through Coca-Cola Europacific and is now the head of business planning, passionate about quality education and female empowerment. And she is also the co-lead for the Female Warriors community in Coca-Cola Europacific Partners, or CCEP Indonesia. Please welcome Tiara to the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Bada. That's a great introduction. Before I start, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone whenever you are dialing in. With across almost, over 2,000 participants across countries, I can sense the different time zone, which is somehow challenging, but I want for us to realize that it has been a privilege to connect globally and also to learn, including myself, from each of the story here. So today I'm going to share a little bit of my professional journey alongside with the personal fulfillment in this particular occasion. So professionally saying, I'm a finance person in a giant multinational company, Coca-Cola Europacific partner based in Indonesia. But really what I do in daily, like Kate mentioned, finance is close to number. So I talk to numbers almost every day, but it's just as much as I talk to people because we really need to have that communication and building the business case. So living in a pandemic situation more than ever, business speed to response has changed exponentially. So this is also related to our role as an accountant or even as finance professional. Because at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves the question, how do we want to create value in order to sustain the business? Like previous speaker also mentioned, there are lots of business has been out of the way because of the COVID situation. Not only sustain, we wanted to come stronger and rebuild the future. So that's basically the question that we need to ask ourselves. And in my formulation, I think it's about creating a value. And what value it is? So value, in this equation has three things. The first one is the quality of work. So I think regardless whether you are a finance professional or anyone else, it's also the important part. It's not only doing the job, but you make sure that you have a standard quality of doing your job. Second thing is efficiency, and the last one is the benefit to others. So these three components coming to the way, because finance, like ourselves, we love to have reports, right? We love to create a matrix to see and track everything. But if out of the 10 reports that we are making, 8 of that sitting at the desk, no one touch and no one action about that, then the question is that really adding the value? And is that something that we can do to make it better? So that's the question I also want to leave with the audience here, including myself, in terms of how do we want to improve our ways of working. Not only that, the roles of finance, I also believe, is centered in the two things. First one is about data, information, facts. So not only seeing what's the historical saying, but also the potential of the future. It comes into sustainability action, for example, also. But the second part, also important, is about center of connections. As a center of connection, finance also have a glue towards across different departments, different teams, across organization. And I think that's why we think in order to move, for example, thousands of people in organization, you need someone that can also hold everyone accountable to their own metrics. And this is why the role of finance and accountant come into the places. I believe that staying in the business is not only for private sector, but also public or non-profit organization. But what's important from that is that we need to make sure as a finance and accounting profession, we also need to make a better informed decision for the organization. We need to help them. So when they want to allocate the fund or resources like Kate mentioned, for example, we need to also help the organization to prioritize and to make sure that sustainability is a part of the agenda. For instance, in this organization, we wanted to focus about how we built the recycle facility and how we move or transform into the recycle packaging for our products to better serve the world. So this is the point where we have to trigger a conversation within the organization, within a cross function, to start to build the pathway to go there. We are not perfect, obviously, but we think that we make progress, and the question is whether progress is accelerating enough for the future. One closing remarks that I wanted to have everyone here take away from this session is be thirsty, really. It's not because I work in the beverage company, obviously, but also be thirsty of a knowledge, be thirsty of a challenge, be thirsty of any experience that you can get so you can make an impact towards your organization. And more importantly, also, you need to be thirsty to challenge the status quo and make it a better place to work or to a better place to live, obviously. So with that, I will hand over back to Badai. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much for the amazing introduction, Tiara.